is party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're in the all-new Studio 22, BlazeTV. You could get behind the paywall for all the fun stuff that's coming. Basically, my OnlyFans. Go to chadnude.com, sign up. And we're going to be doing some overtime specials in the weeks to come. Just trust me, it's coming, and you're not going to want to miss them. You're not. Chad Unfiltered. Chad and the Buff. Pray naked. That's what I'm talking about. Kayla is at the helm, driving us into the nether regions of all things insanity. And, of course, Chris, Super Mario Cruz, telling me what to think and things to say and all that. I'm going to piss you off right here, right off the bat. Something weird happens to these social justice warriors when they're presented with an opportunity to make a decision, possibly including breaking the law. Yet, if their collective group thinks it's okay and has deemed it worthy of taking the risk so as to advance their cause, they just do it. So even when they appear to be logical with a history of a law-abiding life, stories such as administering a COVID vaccine shot without a license and without parental consent to a kid shows they feel morally correct giving the vaccine poke anyway. Can you imagine something like that? This very event took place in Long Island, New York. A biology teacher jabbed her son's 17-year-old friend with a COVID-19 vaccine without his parents' permission, and it was all caught on video. Footage that made public shows last week, it shows Laura Parker Russo, 54 years old, cleaning the unidentified teen's skin as she prepared to administer a dose of the J&J vaccine into his right arm. As Russo smiles, the teen can be heard saying, "There you go, at-home vaccine," in the video obtained by NBC New York. You don't believe me? Look at this right here.
Yeah,
there you go, at-home vaccine.
Getting vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Let's go, you dig?
Look, we're just doing the tiny needle.
Raging pissed off right now. Raging pissed off. The outlet reported the vaccine being the Johnson & Johnson brand, which is only recommended for adults. She stuck the needle in the boy's arm on New Year's Eve. That's what the police report says. The vaccine was authentic, but it's unclear how Parker Russo, who has no medical qualifications, obtained it, and cops are now investigating the matter. Russo, a Herrick's high school biology teacher, according to an online bio, was arrested and charged after the teen returned home and told his mother about the shot, according to the Nassau County Police Department. The mother had not given permission or authority to have her son injected with the COVID vaccine and called police. And that's exactly what the police department press release said, that she called the police. After an investigation was conducted, it was discovered that Laura Parker Russo, not a medical professional or authorized to administer vaccine, and she was placed under arrest without incident. The married mother of 6 was charged under state education law with unauthorized practice of a profession. She's set to appear in court later this month. Herrick's Public Schools Superintendent Fino Solano said in a statement that Russo has been removed from the classroom and reassigned as the case is investigated. Russo is married to John Russo, a Seacliffs, New York realtor, who in an online bio said the couple was raising a, quote, Brady Bunch family. She described in her own online blurb being a lifelong Long Island resident who loves her profession as an educator. She's a member of the Seacliffs Civic Association, which organizes community events in the village 25 miles east of Manhattan. Mount Sinai, South Nassau's chair of medicine, Dr. Aaron Glatt, said the amateur injection could have had more serious consequences. Besides being illegal, it's not a smart thing to do, he told NBC. An authorized licensed professional should be providing vaccines to know how to give them properly to make sure if there's a complication that can be dealt with immediately and very efficiently. The Nassau County Police said they're not sure how Russo obtained a vial of the vaccine, but they're investigating the source. This case is pretty straightforward, folks. The teacher, using her influence, persuaded a boy to illegally take a jab and she no longer needs to have access to students ever in the future. It's time for Laura Parker Russo to find another job after serving some time in jail. 100%. 100%. Pisses me off, Chris. That's why I'm telling you, man. We got to expose this crap. We got to expose this crap. That's why I want to give her name. I want to give where she lives. I want to talk about her husband. I want to talk about everybody. Expose this garbage. Ooh, it's so mean. So what? If that had happened to my kid, Chris, I'm telling you, there'd have been some ass whooping going on.
Don't you think that shows how little respect teachers
they don't care,
have
dude.
About us parents?
They don't care. You're a domestic terrorist anyway.
They have zero respect of a parental role. And if she's a mother of 6, like you said, how in the world? Oh, never mind. She'll feel great because it's for the good of the people that someone will jab her kids.
Again, dude, that's the whole thing, right? They don't care if it's illegal; they're just going to do it.
I want to know out of all this, that story, I haven't seen that story. How in the world did she get that COVID vial?
Yeah. These stories and more at chadprather.com. Piss you off, man. I mean, if you're not pissed, then you're brain dead. I mean, let me tell you, can you imagine somebody doing something like that to one of her 6 kids? Like I'm just going to come in there and, just the audacity of something like this. And the fact that she's an educator, quote unquote, she's a teacher who has influence, adds the insult to the injury. Oh, my gosh, dude. I'm just absolutely sickened by this whole thing. Let's go further. It's a Monday. Why not? Let's get pissed off. New York City. They're funding vending machines that will dispense clean syringes for those disproportionately burdened by overdoses. Yeah, that's a headline. Disproportionately burdened by overdoses. That's how they're going to deal with the overdose crisis. They're going to install public vending machines that are going to give out clean hypodermic needles for those disproportionately burdened by overdoses. It's going to cost about $750,000, $730,000 to get these. So there you go. New York taxpayers getting hosed again. Just getting hosed so everybody can. 10 public vending machines are going to be installed in select locations in New York City. Oh, my God. Stocked with harm reduction and wellness supplies that include clean syringes and anti-overdose drug, the naloxone, or however you pronounce that. Naloxone. You drug users can tell me. In a request for proposals by the nonprofit organization installing the vending machines, the group blamed systemic racism and white privilege for unequal access to resources and opportunities afforded to white people. So the white people could not only get the good drugs, apparently they get the clean needles. That's the logic right there. Experts say the United States is in the middle of a worsening drug overdose crisis. I blame Whitey. In the span of 12 months ending in April 2021, fentanyl overdose became the leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45, with more than 40,000 deaths compared to 22,000 car accidents, 21,000 suicide deaths, 21,000 deaths from COVID-19. You know what they could do? Shut the freaking border down. Like, maybe let's stop the fentanyl coming into the country. There's been more fentanyl, for the first time in history, more fentanyl being apprehended at the border, the southern border, than heroin. There you go. There's enough to wipe out America. There's enough fentanyl on the streets to wipe out America. It's the worst overdose crisis we've seen in the United States. So you know what? Let's just make it a cleaner environment for them to do their drugs. All right. They said in a magical world there would be no drugs. Oh yeah, really? In a day and an age where a teacher is giving a 17-year-old kid a drug without his parents' consent, without the ability to know how to administer it or anything else, just going to start popping drugs in there? Yeah, in a magical world, the government would stop pushing the freaking drugs on the people. How about that? But no, see, that's the whole thing, dude. They've normalized this crap. They've normalized all of this, stick something in your arm, stick something in your vein, all this kind of stuff. Now we're going to give you clean syringes. It's a drug culture at this point. Everything. Got to go get vaccinated, got to get 17,000 boosters, and guess what? If you go to New York City, you can pop some heroin in your vein too and do it with a clean syringe. And Whitey can't stop you. Oh, man. Well, there you go. Oh, New York City. I'll tell you, I got a solution. Can we build a wall around New York? Let's just put New York City, because there's some fine folks in the state of New York who are absolutely getting a bad rep because of Manhattan, because of the island. Can we just put a wall around that level of insanity right there and not let that crap creep out into culture in general? I mean, my God, let's build a wall. Let's build a wall around these cesspools. And I mean, you know what? I got to give it to Andy Cohen on his little drunken New Year's Eve rant with Anderson Cooper when he said sayonara sucker, talking about, Mayor Willem, what's his name? Bill de Blasio. Yeah. Wilhelm. Yeah. What a disgrace to the city of New York. I used to love New York. I used to love going to New York City. Can't pay me to go to that place. Can't pay me to go to that junky, nasty place. And those of you who live there, I feel sorry for you. I know you're listening to this show while standing in line to get a COVID test. I know you are. Either that or you're going to get your hypodermic needles. Oh my gosh, this kind of stuff. People should be encouraged to get off drugs, not having government load them up with tools to use more. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Oh man, you're going to have vending machines like candy so people can do drugs. It is, man. It's kind of like a Pez dispenser, but for hypodermic needles. I mean, yeah, they're going to stop overdosing because now they have clean needles. That's the logic. We're going to deal with the overdose epidemic by giving them clean needles to use. Oh, man. And listen, my heart goes out to you for people who have drug addictions. Look, I get it. You got family members. I've had family members. I've known people. I've had really good friends who have had crisis addictions, have been in rehab. Look, I get it. It is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. I'm not making light of that in any way, shape, or form. But, folks, this is not the solution. This is what I mean when I say we're continually making these ideologies into policies. And the policies are garbage. They're crap. They're more detrimental to the human condition, and they're actually creating a greater crisis. But the government knows that. They know that because the government doesn't love you. The government doesn't care about you. The government doesn't want to help you. They don't want to give you a hand up. They want to keep you dependent. They want to keep you downtrodden. They want to pay you $15 an hour to keep a starter job so that you never amount to anything. They don't want you. You know what? And here's the deal. They don't even care if you pay your taxes. They don't. Like they don't care how rich you get, how much taxes you pay, because they just print more money. See, again, they don't even operate transactionally anymore on a real economy. It's all about debts. It's all about debts, who owes who. You know, this country's going to owe this, and they're going to pay this back, and then blah, blah, blah. And what did we see Joe Biden a couple of weeks ago said, you know what? A good country pays its debts back, so we're going to increase the debt limit. That's what we're going to do. That's weird economics, Joe. But we also know that, what's her name? Peppermint Patty. Jen Psaki, she said, well, the Biden administration wants to fundamentally change the American economic system. No kidding. By keeping everybody broke and downtrodden and on the government tit. And let me tell you, that's where we are. $90 to fill up my truck. $90 to fill up my Ford F-250. Come at me. Joe Biden. It's true. The government they want you under their boot, man. And you know what? If they can keep you drugged up, if they can keep you inoculated, if they can keep you just continue to pander to your inner beast, and then go out there with their social justice warrior army and just do whatever they feel like doing, whether it makes any sense or not, like inoculate your child with some strange chemical from Johnson & Johnson. Man, how the mighty have fallen. I tell you, it's a bad situation, folks. Oh, I tell you. Listen, all there is to talk about in the world anymore is this coronavirus nonsense and racism, okay? That's all there is. Nothing else is happening. I will say this. On a side note, and I meant to say something last week. Kudos to Aaron Rodgers, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, for standing his ground. And they blasted him for saying that people should read Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. That's where we're at, man. It's an ideological book burning. But when an athlete, a professional athlete says you ought to be reading Atlas Shrugged, he ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. I encourage you to do it. If you don't have the brain capacity or the time to sit there and concentrate, watch the movie. Actually, it was like a poorly made, but it got the message across. It got the message across. Go watch Atlas Shrugged. There's a good little low budget film out there that you could go check it out. Ayn Rand. I'm going to reread it just because Aaron Rodgers said it. I'm going to reread Atlas Shrugged. I'm going to do it. Hey, when I was young, I was told America was a free market economy. Everyone had the same opportunities. Well, it turns out that was a big fat lie. New research shows that there's insider trading going on everywhere. In 2021, 52 congressmen violated insider trading rules. And Wall Street execs have exchanged trade secrets over golf at the country club for decades. No wonder over 50% of American investors think the stock market's rigged. It is. Actually, there's another market dominated by rich insiders that most Americans are completely unaware of, the global art market. The rich quietly trade more than $60 billion worth of art every year. That's because some blue chip art can appreciate substantially over time. In fact, blue chip art prices outpace the S&P 500 since 1995. Now, typically you'd need tens of millions to invest in Picassos or Warhols, but a new alternative investing program called Masterworks has finally leveled the playing field. They let regular folks like you and me invest in the same art collected by mega billionaires. Over 295,000 investors have signed up, and some of their paintings have sold out in hours. But they're giving my audience priority access to their newest offerings. Just go to www.masterworks.art/Chad. That's masterworks.art/Chad to get started. Masterworks.art/Chad. There's some important disclaimers at Masterworks, and you need to go read the disclaimers. So check them out and be glad that you did. We'll be right back. You know what, folks? I think everybody should be armed. I really do. I typically am. I very rarely am not. And I also do travel with armed security. Don't even apologize for it. If you could see my inbox, it's insane stuff that comes my way. You gotta listen. I believe in obeying the law. I do. I think the laws are overreach. I think people ask me all the time my policy on the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed. That's what I believe. And they find every way they can, even conservatives, to infringe on your Second Amendment right. You can't have liberty, you can't have freedom without having the ability to protect yourself. And that comes with guns, quite honestly, folks. Look at Australia. Australia is a shit show right now. You know what? They confiscated all their guns. They can't fight back. So you're watching this thing play out. That's the one thing. I watched a movie. What was that movie called, Chris? It was about the Songbird. You see that movie? I recommend people watch that movie. So it was kind of a lower budget deal. It had Demi Moore in it. That ought to tell you where we're at. But it had an interesting message about people. It was COVID-23, right? And it was eating their brains, and they were monitoring everybody's homes and their houses and stuff. And it was supposed to be in Los Angeles, but I think they shot this thing in Australia. I think they made this in Australia. And they would come in, and basically they would if you were exposed to it, they could kill you. They could, take your body away, the whole thing. And it was the people who were immune. They had a registration, like a UPC symbol that they wore around their wrist. It showed that they were immune. I'm not going to spoil the movie. Go watch it, all right? It's a good story. It's very interesting. What's that? Hulu. Yeah, watch it. I've been watching movies on Plex. Plex is an interesting little thing,
That is a very interesting website.
Yeah, Plex is a good little app to watch things
And by the way, speaking of guns, that's what I gave my dad for Christmas.
A gun?
I gave him an XTM 9mm handgun, and he was like, really? I'm like...
You can't give enough guns.
Yeah.
So I went the other day to Texas Gun Experience, and I'm making a point here. I'm getting to a point, even with bringing up the Songbird thing. The point with the Songbird thing is I was like, you know what? This is what a gun-free society looks like. When the masters can just come in and take over. So even though it was supposedly set in America, I was like, this wouldn't happen in America this way, because you could tell this was told from an Australian viewpoint, because they don't have guns, and it ain't gonna go down like that in America. I don't know though. I mean, people they're so used to being under the thumb. Who knows what's going to happen? But I will say. I went the other day to Texas Gun Experience. I had to go pick up a suppressor. Took me 18 months. It was 18 months to get the approval, get the tax stamp, which was ridiculous. That's a Second Amendment violation, in my opinion, for a suppressor. Again, oh my God, what do you need a suppressor for? It makes the gun sound about like a staple gun, and I like that. And so it's been sitting there for, 4 or 5 months. I haven't gone and picked it up. And so finally I went by there and picked it up and shot a few rounds, sighted it in. It's nice on my 300 Blackout. And I'm just sitting there going, I think people should be armed, and I think you should be proficiently armed, okay? And believe it or not, we're not going to run around like the Wild Wild West, just shooting everybody. Because, again, the people who do that have mental health issues. My guns, I got a lot of guns. Y'all know me. Y'all know I got a lot of guns. I like to shoot. It's my thing. One of these days, I'm going to just quit all of this nonsense, and all I'm going to do is, on social media is just show you my hunting and fishing adventures. That's what I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm just going to change my whole branding to that. Let's go branding. But here's the deal. There's a Lyft driver in Philadelphia. All right. So you had you know what a Lyft is. It's like Uber or Lyft, whatever. These car services. He was licensed to carry a firearm, and there was an attempted armed carjacking on Monday afternoon last week. And, he was carrying. And I thought by and large, like I know with Uber, you're not supposed to carry. I don't know about Lyft. I don't know what their policy is. But I would rather be judged by a jury of 12 than carried by a group of 6, okay? So he shot him. He injured the 2 suspects who were attempting to steal his vehicle. 38-year-old man who's transporting a female passenger, and they were rear-ending him twice with a Honda Accord, no less. After being hit for the second time, the driver got out of the 2011 Infiniti sedan to confront the 2 men who, according to police, were in their 20s. And that's when one of them allegedly exited the vehicle, pointed a gun at the Lyft driver, demanding possession of his vehicle. The driver was able to remove his passenger from the vehicle before the carjacker entered the driver's seat. But once the suspect was in control of the vehicle, the Lyft driver, reportedly a licensed concealed firearm carrier, pointed his gun at the man and opened fire, striking him in the chest. Booyah! I love these. These are feel-good stories to me. Yeah. Then the driver of the getaway vehicle then tried to run him over, but the Lyft driver was able to shoot him on the right side of his rib cage. Okay. It's a feel-good story. Like, this is the kind of bedtime reading you should do with your kids. I'm serious. Like, get them iTarget Pro, teach them how to shoot, take them to the range when you can. And listen, I went into the range when we were sighting in that 300 blackout, after I put the suppressor on it, and there was a dude in there shooting a cannon. I mean, I don't know, like, I think he was shooting an AR-15, but this was the loudest AR I've ever heard in my life. People have no idea. If you've never been around guns, they're loud. It's very concussive. And I was with a friend of mine who has a little bit of PTS, former military member, seen some action. And I could see that they were visibly kind of, every time that thing would go off, I could see it was kind of rattling their nerves a little bit. And I just say people who think they can behave a certain way in certain scenarios, I don't know. Once the guns start popping, you know this, Chris. It gets a little bit anxiety ridden. That's why I like to surround myself with people who are used to running towards the gunfire and not away from it.
And funny you say that, because that's like instilled in military and police officer, especially if you're like a veteran, then join the police. It's like you hear gunfire, you literally go straight at it.
You go at it.
You go, and there's no stopping. And I blame the brainwashing that the military does at the beginning with boot camp. But It is a good brainwashing, because you completely forget, and all of a sudden it's like that trigger training, everything kicks in, and you just go for it.
The reaction.
It's awesome.
I've got friends of mine. I do a lot of stuff. I don't do a lot, but I try to do stuff with some friends with the Green Beret Foundation. I got a number of friends who are retired Green Berets, and I like to surround myself with people like that, right? You know, we've got a lot of friends in the Navy SEAL community, retired, you know, there's Jack Carr, Clint Emerson, Mike Ritland. These guys have been on the show, various other friends. And my buddy Travis Wilson does a ton of stuff with, we push his Alpha Elite Performance supplements all the time. Use promo code Chad. And then tons of stuff that they do with the Green Beret Foundation. I'm fascinated by that caliber of human being, though, that has seen it, been there, done it. They deal with it. They deal with the demons that come with it. And all I'm saying, the point of this segment is be prepared, people. We're living in a weird world. We always have, but I mean, it's getting really, really weird. Be aware of your surroundings. You know, I mean, you're just in a lift, and the next thing you know, people are trying to carjack you and run you over, and it makes you not ever want to go out in public again, Chris. Like I do. I just want to go spend my time, you know, hunting and fishing and just away from. But again, you're going to have to send me some money on Venmo. Chad Prather 22, I think, is my Venmo address. $5 goes a long way, folks, when you're poor like me. Or go to chadnude.com and subscribe to The Blaze. I think I get $10. If you dream of comfortable sheets at a price that won't keep you up all night, look no further than BOLL and Branch. I was folding my sheets the other day, Chris. These BOLL and Branch sheets, they get softer the more you wash them. I mean, I have a couple of sets, and they're nice. Don't get me wrong. They're a value buy, right? It's not the cheapest sheets out there. You don't want to sleep on the cheapest sheets. But these things are great. They use 100% sustainable raw materials. And as the first fair trade certified manufacturer of linen, you can feel as good about your BOLL and Branch sheets as they feel against your skin. I'm telling you, they are good. And I even didn't mind folding the fitted sheet. You know, that's always a pain, but it's just so soft. I was like, yeah, let me just try to fold this some more. So experience the best sheets you've ever felt. BollandBranch.com. That's BOLL, BOLL. And branch.com. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use promo code WATCHCHAD at checkout. That's BOLL, BOLL, branch.com. Please check them out. Use promo code WATCHCHAD and sleep by your gun. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness gracious. The stuff that comes our way. Folks, the governor of the great state of New York, no, not our beloved Andrew Cuomo, he's gone. Kathy Hochul has declared that racism is a public health emergency. Finally, somebody said it. Finally, someone had the stones, the cojones, the big old brass balls to get up in front of God and everybody and say what other people before have already been idiotically saying since at least the beginning of the Wuhan flu. Folks, there are days when I want to take my hat off and find the nearest brick wall and just bang my head against it for a good solid minute or two, you know, just to see if I can knock out some of the stupid crap I've heard throughout my day. And then there are other days, like today, when I'd like to bang someone else's head against the wall for a bit and see if I can't knock some common sense into their head. I won't name names, but it's a fine daydream if you've got the time. Let's dispense with the BS part of this first. Racism is not a public health emergency, folks. It's just not. On paper, if you happen to be a 19-year-old college student whose idea of studying history is smoking pot and reading Nicole Hannah-Jones, maybe it sounds real, but it's not. And one of the main problems with claiming that it is that you devalue other real public health emergencies. It's sort of like the old idea of the boy who cried wolf. By the time the real wolf came around to, wreck everything, nobody believed the boy anymore. So that's the simple part. But per our usual arrangement with the left, whenever they say something stupid, there's usually something sinister hiding underneath it. And this is no exception. You see, the statement that Governor Hochul came on the heels of some pieces of legislation she had just signed. So you see, they're not just declaring racism, systemic racism at that, the worst kind. They're not just declaring it a public health emergency. They're also creating things like health equity assessments to be filed with an application for any project that will affect a hospital's health care services. Now, if that doesn't sound scary to you, you're braver than me. As always, folks, with the left, we have to return to first principles. What is it they're trying to do? If the answer is subvert the dominant paradigm, and it usually is, then it falls upon the sane among us to work that particular brand of magic known as critical thinking and assess two things in our minds. What are they really planning to do here, and what can we do about it? Now, the former question is hard. Why does the left preach about racism when it routinely engages in it? We can cut to the chase here and say what I've said here before. They do not care about minorities. Hell, they created and have maintained the systems that promote generational poverty among minorities and have done so for decades. No, what they really want, as always, is control, the ability to manipulate your thoughts at will through directed speech. Now, it sounds hinky and a bit like science fiction, but if history has shown us anything, it's that this crap actually works, especially on a public that's weak-minded. So that brings us to the second question. What can we do? Well, obviously, we can vote in our communities, in our states, in our federal elections. We can get out and do our civic duty. You know I encourage that. But also, and far, far more importantly, we can strive every day to engage in a little bit more critical thinking than we did the day before. we can encourage other people to do it as well. Now, if enough people have their intellectual software updated to the latest patch, there will never be legislation like this because there will never be the necessary groundwork of idiotic statements like racism is a public health emergency upon which to prop it up. We got to think, folks. We've got to think because they're telling you how to do it, and it's ridiculous. Kathy Hochul said, for far too long, communities of color in New York have been held back by systemic racism and inequitable treatment. Okay. I am proud to sign legislation that addresses this crisis head on, addressing racism, expanding equity, and improving access for all. Racism, she said, is a public health crisis. It establishes a working group to promote racial equity throughout the state of New York. Oh, my God. Requires health equity assessment to be filed with an application for any project that will affect a hospital's health care services. Oh, yeah. Here's what I propose we do. Let's just let the quack doctors, the quote-unquote quacks, right, the Dr. McCulloughs, let's just let them have their own little quack clinics and then just let people choose, right? I mean, look, if a teacher can give a 17-year-old boy his injection, then I should not be able to pick which doctor who went to a reputable medical school, got a reputable medical degree. Shouldn't I be able to choose who I want to go see? And then you guys can have the system. Y'all can just have the medical system that's out there. Your Barack Obamacare, you can have it, paid for by the government. They can stick you with whatever in the hell they want to stick you with. And y'all just go up there and y'all just play witch doctor all you want. And just leave us alone. Let us go see who we want to go see. And we can take all the horse pills we want to take. And we can, I mean, why not? Why not? You guys have the system and let us just go our own way, okay? Because believe it or not, you ain't going to cure cancer, right? And because that's big business. So let's think for a second about what we go to big pharma for right now. We're going for a blah blah that we don't know if it's actually a blah blah. We don't know. We don't know. They don't know either, but they're going to tell you it works. Well, they don't know. Joe Biden's going to come out and say, well, it's going to reduce your chances of contracting it. But meanwhile, everybody at the White House has it. They're going to do that. They're going to give you the chemotherapy. It's going to destroy every cell in your body. It's going to destroy the healthy cells while trying to get rid of the cancer cells. You could go in there. They can cut stuff out. Look, we can figure out how to cut things out of people. I've done it in third world countries. I mean, I've sat there and seen the doctors in third world countries do this stuff. I've seen C-sections in third world countries, cement block walls with no air conditioning in there, less than sanitary conditions, let me tell you. But the baby was alive. It was born healthy. It's amazing how humanity kind of finds a way. So let us go back to our old school way of thinking. We can put leeches on wounds and we can aerate people's skulls, let the demons out, whatever. That's our business. That's our business. If that's the way we want to do it, I want my third booster leech applied to my whatever. Let's just do it. And then you guys can go out there and be racially sensitive. You can hate whitey. You can make sure that the doctors are progressive and telling you about how, the white man's keeping you down and keeping those clean hypodermic needles away from you on the streets of New York. I mean, if that's practicing medicine, man, then so be it. Y'all go practice that medicine. Y'all do you. Y'all do you. But please do it behind the walls that we build around New York City. For crying out loud. Oh, my God. Rhode Island, Rhode Island. That's still a state? It is. They allowed COVID-positive healthcare staff to work after firing unvaccinated workers. That makes a lot of freaking sense. Yeah, I said what I said. I said what I said. They're allowing COVID-positive healthcare staff to work after they're firing unvaccinated workers. That's Rhode Island. That's what I'm saying. Let the system do it their way. And can we just go do our thing? Let's do our education our way. Let's do our medicine our way. Let's do our sense of justice our way. You want to carjack the Lyft driver after he shoots you in the chest and you're still alive? Let's get a rope and hang your ass in the middle of the street. There, problem freaking solved. Good God. I'm ready to go back, guys. I'm ready to go back. Take me back. Take me back. Hey, Some things we can't get out from under, like your credit score. An okay credit score can cost you over $100,000 over the life of a 30-year home loan. That's why you need to be using ScoreMaster. Been telling you this for a year. ScoreMaster can take your credit score from okay to great very, very fast. The average user is going to get 61 points in 20 days or less. The recent COVID surges, they're keeping interest rates low for now. Adding 61 points to your score could save you thousands on a home loan. But those rates are going to go up soon. So before you apply, visit scoremaster.com, add points to your credit score, and then maintain and protect your credit score, 24/7 credit monitoring, and a $1 million fraud insurance. It only takes minutes to enroll. See your points, get more points, qualify for the lowest loan rates. Visit scoremaster.com/Chad. That's scoremaster.com/Chad. Go get started today. Oh, yeah. You know, the tribes of the ancient Aztecs, technically your people, Chris. Technically, the tribes of the ancient Aztecs, they sacrificed their leaders to the gods in case of famine or pandemic. And maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we need to sacrifice some, never mind. So I posted, from chadprather.com, I posted the story that I alluded to earlier on the teacher that was given the jab to the kid, right? And so I went over to Twitter. I posted that story over on Twitter. I'll give you some comments here. Underneath the tweet, one person said, "I smell a lawsuit." Yeah. Another person said, "What in the actual hell?" Another person said, "So how did a teacher get a spare vax shot?" Another person said they'd be picking her up off the ground. All kind of things wrong here. She's not a nurse. Did she steal the vaccine? Child abuse. Oh my goodness, Lord help me if anyone does that to my child. I would have to make a stop at Mr. Prather's Fort Knox. Teacher needs to be in prison. She ever touched a child again, she's not doing anything different than a sexual relationship with a minor. It's an interesting point. Somebody said she should be injected with 2A. I would have inserted my size 13 boot up her ass if they did that to my kid without talking to me. Somebody said, again, to that point, would you say her doing this is no different than sleeping with a minor? Because to me, this is raping him without knowing his medical history. Yep. You can't expose this nonsense enough. You just can't do it. So yeah. Yep, dude, that just fires me up. It fires me up. Do we still have that montage of Joe Biden and exponentially? That's a couple weeks old, but I tweeted that out, and I just had a memory about that. I love that little clip. Can we play it? You still have it? You need a second? We got to get a dart gun for in here. I'm getting Nerf guns for in here. I'm so excited about this new studio. We're going to be doing some fun stuff. Yeah. Got it? Okay, one more second. I've still got people who are reeling and railing over the fact that I want to hang somebody. Do it.
Exponentially. 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 Exponential. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponential. Exponentially. 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 Exponential. Exponentially. 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 Exponentially.
I mean, exponentially. Do you think at some point in time somebody should have pulled Joe aside somewhere in the last 78 years and said, "Hey, dude, that ain't a word"? No, just like irregardless. I think they actually did add irregardless to the dictionary. I think they did. Like, at some point in time, you just get so tired of trying to correct people's stupidity. You just say, screw it, go with it. Go with it. Exponentially. Exponentially. And then he repeats it too. Exponentially. Exponentially. He's a moron, but he's the president. He's the president. Do we have a TikTok? Let's have it.
I have a question for the
I do
Alphabet
too.
Mafia. If you're not a member of the LGBTQIA community and you're somehow straight and found me, 1, how? And 2, just keep scrolling. So I am apogender. My pronouns are he, they. And as you can tell, I'm mask presenting. So my question is this. I always get he. I almost never get the they.
No shit.
Because I'm mask presenting and I do appear more masculine, does that just negate the they? I understand that he is my main pronoun, but sometimes it's nice to, hear the they portion of the pronoun. That just never happens because I appear more masculine. So I just don't know if people think it just negates the fact that the they part is there just because I'm built like a bear.
Okay, so let me break it down for you, buddy. First of all, here's how it's going to go. You are a singular individual. You're one person. Like when you present yourself, you present singularly. Like when a person sees you walking up, they don't automatically go, here comes a crowd of people. They don't just say, hey, here comes they. They see you, not y'all, not all y'all. They just see you. So if you think that your life is going to be somehow made better by people suddenly referring to you in the communal sense, it ain't gonna happen, Chief. You're gonna be a dude. People are gonna see you as a dude, and that's the way you're gonna live, and that's the way you're gonna die. That's the way it's going to go. And they're not going to put he, they on your tombstone either. Because nobody cares. Nobody cares about your mental disorder, your 3 faces of Eve, or whatever hodgepodge of schizophrenia you're operating under and trying to puke all over modern society. That ain't the way it's going to go, Joe. So listen, bro. If you want to be a girl or you want to be a gay or you want to be a whatever it is you want to be, then go be that. But don't jump on there and preach piously to everybody out there because we did not rise to the level of superior knowledge to know that you, my friend, are dealing with multiple personalities. I know we're not going to bathe in this type of ignorance and pander to it because you get your feelings hurt when somebody doesn't compare you to the Holy Trinity and have some kind of, however many names you got. I don't know. You're mask presenting. Was that the phrase? Am I mask presenting right now? I don't know. I know half the world has a wiener. The other half of the world doesn't have a wiener. And as I'm going off of that knowledge, I'm assuming if you don't have a wiener, you're a girl or you're injured. That's the fact. And that's about all I'm going to go with. Me, I got a wiener. And that's all I'm going to say. We'll be right back. I spent the weekend goose hunting. Killed a lot of geese. Some of that light geese hunting, migratory game birds. A lot of fun, actually. I'm telling you, I'm going to just start doing my hunting and fishing adventures. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to be that guy. There you go. But I encourage people to go to chadonblaze.com. Get a t-shirt. Get your blah blah t-shirt. Get your F the left t-shirt. Get your unvaccinated or your pure-blooded t-shirt, I should say. Go check them out. Use Chad20 for a discount. Chadnude.com. I want 100,000 subscribers to The Blaze, all because of this show. I want this to be the most... I don't know who Glenn Beck is. Glenn Black. I want this to be the most important show on Blaze TV. I do. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for my ramblings and my rantings. Kind of changed the format. We're putting more of the meat up front and kind of saving some fluff for the last few minutes. But I encourage people to go to chadprather.com, go to watchchad.com, and, of course, prather2022.com. We will see you tomorrow night for Tuesday. Until then, take care. We'll talk to you then. Bye.